All right, I got it now. I'm ready. Hey, what's up, everybody? You tuned in to another episode of Strategic Moves. I'm your host, Ken Dowd. This is a place where I bring art, culture, politics, and business all together, and I do it every Sunday right here on this channel. But when I'm not shooting this podcast, I am the owner of Strategic Resources, where we specialize in political campaigns, government, and public relations. Been doing it all around Ohio for 25 years. Met some interesting people along the way, and I want to make your next move a strategic move. And this program gives me exactly the opportunity to do just that. So, if it's something you think you'd be interested in, all I need you to do is hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell as well, so you know the next time this program comes on. But today, we're going to break it down because we're going to talk about a real serious issue today on the program. I got a couple that came in, and we're going to learn something that's going around that many of you people may not know about, but it's happening and happened right here, real close to us, and we're going to shed the light on extortion today. And I got Tim and Tamia Woods here in our audience today. But before we bring them on, I want to shoot a shout out to the best producer in podcast today, Lateef, DJ True. How's everything going?
Everything is good. Everything is good.
That's cool. That's cool.
So you got some serious subject matter today, huh?
Oh yeah, we're gonna get down on some serious things, man. I saw this on the news where the situation that happened with their son, and when I saw that, then I told my wife, I said that's really a serious issue, and I'm gonna have them on the show to talk about that. And so today we got an opportunity. It's been a year later since the incident, I believe, just over a year.
Short he passed November 19th.
November 19th coming up, and so they came and blessed us to come on our show. So we're going to enlighten everybody, and hopefully there's some information, and people make sure you listen to what's going on so you'll know what's happening with that. So without further ado, I want to introduce Tim and Tamia Woods to the program.
His name is James as well.
Yeah, my name is James also.
And you know what was crazy was I kept calling you James all up until maybe a couple of days ago when I had to actually start putting stuff down. I said, this guy's name is Tim the whole time. And I thought it was James the whole time. I kept calling you James. Hey. So I want to welcome you guys to our program. How you guys doing today?
Can't complain. Can't complain.
Doing good. How's y'all mental today, man?
Oh, I don't know, Tim.
How's your mental? Let's start with Tim. Tim, how's your mental today, brother?
I usually say the same as every other day. I'm not sure if that's good or bad.
Well, that's good. You can have bad days. We have bad mental days. I had one. As a matter of fact, I had a bad mental weekend almost, Friday and Saturday. But it worked out. Today, I'm having a very good day. So my mental is good today.
I would say I did have a good weekend.
All right.
Yeah, we went bowling. I had fun. It was great.
Excellent.
Yeah.
He sucks. He does not. He never lets me win, and he likes to push that in my face.
So how's your mental?
I guess it's not good. No, I had a good time. I like to try to push myself to beat him every now and then. It comes and goes.
So bowling's your thing?
Yeah, that's where we met.
Really? Mm-hmm. All right, so we're going to do like we always do on our program. Part of that is that we always got to go back to say where we came from, how we got here, and all that other stuff. So we're going to start with Tamia. So, Tamia, you homegrown from Ohio, Cleveland, Streetsboro. Give us your background. Where are you from?
I am originally from Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
And we've been there lived there for about 35 years.
Really?
Moved up here almost 5 years ago. No.
2018,
so that was 5 years ago. Yeah. Moved up here for a career opportunity.
Okay.
And have been here since. No longer with that company, but...
Wow. But you're still here?
Yes, with a better company.
Excellent.
Best company.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
What about you, Tim? Where you from?
I'm from the Cleveland area.
Okay.
I was born here. I was there till about 19. Mm-hmm. Went to Toledo for a couple years. Mm-hmm. Was wasting my time and theirs. So I left. Moved to Columbus. Mm-hmm. Was there for a while and eventually met her in 2004.
So you grew up here in Cleveland?
Yes.
So what neighborhood?
Cleveland, Garfield Heights, and Bedford Heights.
Oh, okay. What high school you went to?
Cleveland JFK at first, and then we transferred to Bedford Heights.
So you're a native. You're from here, and that's a good thing. People from Cleveland like to support people from Cleveland, and we like to do that. And what's crazy is when I saw you on TV, it was like, you look so familiar. You look like somebody who was from here. So that's why I did it, and you did also. So that's why I really thought you guys was from here. So y'all ended up meeting bowling. right?
Yes.
Yeah, we was
And
at
that was
a
in
bowling
Columbus?
alley.
Yes.
Bowling alley in Columbus, the summer of '04.
Yeah.
I used to go up there with my friend, and I was trying to learn how to bowl, and she'd be up there with her
How
grandfather.
to bowl or bowl again.
I had surgery,
Okay.
so I was pretty much learning how to walk again.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had surgery on my knee. They took a whole bunch of stuff and pulled it out and did some rearranging and all that other crap. Yeah, I was having trouble walking after surgery, so I started learning how to bowl again. I already knew how to bowl, but
And I was there because my grandfather, who's no longer here, but at the time he had a scare, a diabetes scare. He didn't know he had diabetes and ended up in ICU.
Okay.
So after he became well again, I realized like I gotta spend a little bit more time with my grandfather.
Okay.
And my grandfather bowled 6 days a week.
Really?
Yes. So every Friday I would meet up with my grandfather, and I could not bowl for nothing, but I just did it to spend time with him. And then I saw some guy, and I was like, "Ooh, he's cute."
Oh. Even though he couldn't walk, huh?
He couldn't.
I was walking,
was
just not perfectly. You know,
You're probably walking the way I walk now. I got a hitch to my walk now too. So I guess you're walking exactly the way I'm walking right now. Yeah, that's cool. So then y'all ended up hooking up and ended up moving here. So y'all had in Columbus.
Yes.
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So he started out school in Columbus.
Yeah, he was in Columbus. Of course, our only child, and he was there until the end of the 7th grade year. I moved up here, of course, for a job, and we had a discussion. Of course, Tim was like, "Okay, I'm okay with moving," and we promised James that even though, because he did not want to come to Cleveland.
Really?
At all. No. He said his friends was back at home, his family was at home, and that's where he wanted to stay. We said we understand that, and we made sure that we made a promise to always keep them close. And until the day he passed, we made good on that promise to him. I smile at that all the time.
Yeah, he was happy.
We went overboard, but that's okay.
So he made the transition.
He made the transition.
Because from what I've seen in the videos and stuff and everything, he seemed like he made a good transition, right?
Yeah,
he did. He was a happy kid. He had all his friends around him from up here and from down there. His family members was his cousins. They're around the same age, so he was always with people that he liked.
Yeah.
And how was Streetsboro?
Streetsboro was actually good to us. Yeah.
It's a lovely place.
Yeah. Where we live is very diverse.
Okay.
But they were very welcoming to James. I think also because of how James carried himself as well. He just treated everyone the same. He he wanted everyone to treat him like a normal kid. And that's what he did. So they ended up taking him in and was really good to our son.
So he was an athlete.
Yeah.
He ran track, cross country.
Yeah.
Any other sports?
He did basketball a little bit.
A little bit. He started off at basketball. He didn't really care for the team. So that's where he was. So I'm okay. So true transparency.
Yeah.
Like we're a basketball couple. Like I like basketball. Ball is life for me.
Okay.
And I really wanted him to be into basketball. When he died, he was 6'2". He was only 17. So I'm like, you can do it. No, he was not having organized basketball. He would still go to open gym with his friends and stuff. Organized basketball is a no. No. He said, Mom, Dad, can I try track? He wanted to try track. Our rule was
2 sports or get a job.
2 sports or get a job.
Really?
Yep. So as long as he did 2 sports throughout the year,
Why
had no
2
problem.
sports?
Because one sport you could get it out the way and then be doing a whole bunch of nothing.
Oh, so it was more along the lines of staying busy.
Yeah,
Pretty much,
you
stay
keep your
busy,
kids
stay
they
active,
stay out of
give
the
them some purpose. So he thought about it. He was like, I could get a job, and then he realized the hours will probably be messing with his video game time, and
They really ain't gonna make no money. Tell them like, you can go to work, but you're not gonna. The hours you have to work with school and everything, you're really not gonna make any money.
He applied to a job because his friends talked him into applying to Dairy Queen, and
which is nothing wrong with that.
nothing wrong. So he calls me and was like, Mom, I was talking to Jordan and they told me to apply to Dairy Queen. I said, okay. I'm over the top. Okay, we can practice because he's never interviewed before or anything. He said, no, I'm already here. I said, okay. I said, you sure you don't want to practice? No, I got this. So he goes and interviews and he comes home. I said, okay, tell me about this interview. And I think I did okay. I said, okay, what did you tell him your availability was? He said, I told him I can't do Tuesday because that's my dad's only day off and I need to spend time with him. And I can't do Thursday because I have track meets. And I cannot do the weekends because that's my me time. I said, James, they are not hiring you.
We don't call you that one day a year when we're going to work that one particular day. We got you.
Yeah, he never got hired.
Wow.
I was like, oh, my baby, he privileged. But that's okay.
Well, that's cool. That's how it's supposed to be. I got 3 girls and a son. And I told them the same thing. I didn't want them working in high school. I wanted them to enjoy high school. I wanted them to play sports or whatever. But I didn't think they needed to go to work. Because I always told them, when you go to work, you're going to work. You're going to start working. And that's it. Once that thing goes, you go. But you're never, ever going to be able to replace being a kid.
Yeah.
The time you have fun and all of this stuff, and I think about my childhood, that's the best time. And you just can't get rid of that. And I really pushed them. My girls played softball. And they were, same thing, I wanted them to play. And it killed me the last game when they didn't play anymore. I was just heartbroken. It was like, oh my God.
It was like you gave it up.
Yeah, I gave it up. It was like, what you gonna do now, man? I was literally, I ain't got nothing to do. No practices no more, no anything. So I can totally get with that.
Yeah.
So when he got to Streetsboro, he made it through high school. He was a senior, right?
Yeah.
And he was getting into his senior year. He had been graduating this year.
Yeah, he would have graduated 2023.
2023.
Yeah, May of 2023, he would have graduated.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's get into that and everything. So what was going on, and how did this whole thing transpire in you guys' mind?
He, like everyone else, he's on social media. Everybody got Facebook, Instagram, Discord, and all that other things. And he just happened to be on there one night, and somebody sent him a direct message. So in the message, he didn't see it at first, but when he finally saw it, he responded. It was a young woman, just striking up conversation with him. And after he responded, they just started talking back and forth for a little bit, asking each other little things about each other. And she was an attractive person. He's a guy. A teenage guy is going to turn down a conversation with a pretty girl.
Correct.
They engaged in conversation, and eventually she turned the conversation sexual. Asked him, would you like to see my boobs and whatnot? You got a hot chick in front of you, of course you want to see her boobs. He said okay. They went into the bathroom, and she exposed herself top to bottom and asked him to do the same thing, and he did also. And
They were on video chat. Yeah, it's a lot of misconception
she contacted him through direct message. And when they moved to the bathroom so that they could make sure they had privacy, they went onto a video with each other.
Really?
So he could physically see a person. It wasn't just pictures.
I never thought. I thought it was all pictures the whole time. Wow.
A lot of people think that it was a picture. And even though we say on video, I think a lot of the stories that are coming out, they keep reverting back to pictures. It was never, my son never sent a picture.
They use a picture because that's what the news and whoever, they always say a picture because that's what it was used to attack him.
Right.
Was a picture.
But it was like FaceTime.
It was, it was like on Instagram, you can actually have a video, yes.
Really?
And then they screenshotted the video and used that picture against him. And that's how he learned he was a victim, was because they sent him a picture of himself.
So the girl that he saw was an actual...
It was an actual female, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And so I guess as that went on, how long, and I was listening to some of your interviews and stuff, this didn't take long at all. This kind of went really quick, correct?
19 and a half hours.
Wow.
And you have to also realize, and we'll get deeper into this, but James, if you look up the research and do all the look up the victims of sextortion, James is actually one who lasted the longest. So, and 19 and a half hours in our eyes are very long, like that's short.
Right.
But when you look at the social media world, Instagram world, internet crimes against children, Homeland Security, FBI, National Center of Missing and Exploited Children, that's all a long period of time. It is to believe that if Metaverse would have done what they were supposed to do, his life he would still be here today.
So
it's enough time for them to stop
Give us some detail on that. When you say if they could have did what they should have done, what you mean by that?
It's just if you and I were on Facebook and I said, shut up, go kill yourself. If I said that, how long does it take for them to delete my message? Instantly, right? You're put on Facebook jail. I make comments. You cannot send any messages. It literally happens instantly. With James, it was consistent harassment with those type of verbiage from them and by my son, including child pornography, to where it should have. And what happens typically is it gets dinged to Instagram, Facebook. They actually cut off all communication, so they stop the communication and they send that message to Internet Crimes Against Children, and then they intervene. It gives them enough time to shut it down and intervene. They never did that with James.
Jeez. He gets this message. He gets it. I'm sure he's alarmed by what he gets and whatnot. And I heard something else that was alarming to me, was that in your comments that you said that he went on with his day with you guys, which was never said anything. So how did that? So take us through how that went, if you don't mind.
That Friday when he was first contacted, we were at the bowling alley. We come back from bowling after he got contacted by the person, and he talks to us. We talk to him like how we do every day. Had normal conversation. He was acting normal. There was nothing weird about anything. He wasn't sweating or breathing hard or panicked or anything. He was just normal. The next day, Saturday, I see him again in the morning before I go to work. Same thing. He's wide awake. He's not worried or he's not anxious about anything. He's just normal, like I always see him. Later on that day, him and his mom, they go to a college fair. Still normal.
That's the part I heard. Y'all went to the Warrensville one, wasn't it?
The Warrensville High School. They have an HBCU college fair every year.
We do that every year with our girls. I used to. And when I heard that, I was like, wow, all of this was flashback. That's when I was like, I'm getting them on my show for sure. Wow, yes. And y'all went to the college fair.
Yes, he was big on, he really wanted to go to Central State. That was one of the college tours that he actually went twice. So I took him on a college tour that summer, and then we had an opportunity with I know a Central State alumni, and her and a couple of with other youth his age, not with mom. So he actually went there again. He was big on going to Central State. He wanted to run for them, and he was just really adamant about going to Central State. So that
I always do my little jab at Central, but
no,
she graduated from Central. And my other dude, he would have made the track team. Ain't no problem with that.
Well, you always have where our athletic black kids typically go to PWIs,
right.
And so I was all for him taking his talents to an HBCU.
That's cool. Hey, you know what? Central was a good school.
Yes,
it's a great school. She graduated alumni. Her and her friends. My daughter went there. I was scared half to death when she went there, but came out all right. So, yeah, Central would have been fine.
We danced that day. There was a couple of old school songs that came on. I'm like, nothing about this. Just had a good time. Some of his friends was there. James' principal was actually there as well. And so it comes a time they have the band play, have a couple of performances, a couple of speakers come up, and then after that they go to where all the recruiters are, and it's over 20 schools, as you are well known about. And during that time I felt like he was comfortable. He knew some people, and I said, James, I'm going to step away right now because if I stay, I'm choosing your college for you. Right. So I wanted him to truly talk to other colleges, see what they can do for him, and really pick a choice that he made. He's growing up. He's 17 and a half. I wanted him to be able to make his own choices. Plus, Tim talked to him earlier that day and told him to take in the moment. And that's exactly what we were trying to get him to do. That's when I left. Little did I know that these people were messaging him, telling him to get away from me now and send him money.
Really?
Still didn't know anything about it. I went to brunch with my cousin and my aunt, and we went to Kitchen Social, and they had some good French toast and like all of that. Yes. And so I thought just quickly in my head, oh man, James would have loved it. And now he had left. He called me at 1:28. And he was like, Mom, I talked to 3 colleges. He said Howard, Fisk, and Central. And he said, I even thought about joining a fraternity. Like I met a fraternity guy. I was like, oh man, that's awesome. And I heard he's smiling. You can hear him smiling in his voice. And I said, we'll talk about it later. And that was the last time I talked to him.
Jesus.
And all the while I'm singing his praises and didn't know that he was really, truly struggling. And I really didn't think that I truly believe that he did not plan on taking his own life. He still...
My friend is a barber, and he's been cutting James and I's hair since the whole time we've been up here in the Cleveland area. He still made his appointment to go get his hair cut after he left from the HBC.
We found out about a month and a half ago that he was literally, like, his best friend she's in band, and they were seniors together, and she was in Disney World the day that James passed, and her and James was having conversations. You better have fun and tell me all about it, because he hasn't been to Disney World, but we've been to Florida 3 times. We go to Universal all the time. He really likes it. He really loves. Yes, Universal. So like he was just explaining like how much he loved it, and she was saying when they come back, take lots of pictures. Like he was literally to the day, like I don't know when he stopped planning his future. It was that whole day. It was future plans.
Don't know what it was.
We say all the time, and when we go to do speaking engagements and different things of that sort, we have learned through learning about sextortion the hard way that someone who has 0 signs and symptoms of suicide or depression, by the time he passed, he had every single sign.
Wow.
And
so, why don't you help us with that? And I'm going to stay on that point because I forget stuff sometimes. And I think that's important. What are those?
So you have a lot of different signs. You may have fear, embarrassment. You may have no will to live, unemployment, no social life, no family life.
But it seemed James had all of those things, right?
But as they harassed him in 200 messages, it took it all away, right? So just to give you an example, unemployment. You hear a lot about people committing suicide when they like are millionaires and they lose everything. James was unemployed, so he didn't need any money. Tim and I, we gave him whatever he needed, and we're not ashamed about that. He didn't have to worry about that, but they threatened him, where's our money? So now here's unemployment where
he can't do nothing about it.
He cannot do anything. He owes people money that are threatening. He cannot do anything.
That's a huge one. When you put it that way, that was it.
Exactly. So you have
fear of having to
I'm going to ruin. No, it's more than that.
Not even that.
I'm going to ruin your life.
Oh.
I know where you live. You live in Streetsboro. I'm going to take everything, make your life a complete hell.
Wow.
You have embarrassment. They not only took the pictures of James, but they threatened him, said they would put it on YouTube and every social media site. But then on top of that, they sent it to his friend. They sent it to my nephew.
So they actually did send it to some people? Really?
Oh, yeah. People say threats. No.
And how did they find his people? I guess they got into his...
So it's easy, actually. So when you have your Instagram friends, I have access to
Right,
who follows you, and everything. I think, and this is not proven, and I haven't looked into it, but if you look at your Instagram and you pull up your followers, I think the people that you communicate with the most come up first.
Okay.
So then you screenshot it.
And you just go dig them up. Wow. Wow.
And then you have some of them that they use to embarrass. They say, send us money to help save him. This is what we're going to do. And then the other ones that they screenshot, they're new victims because they can guarantee that they'll stay in that age frame around that time.
That is deep.
Yeah, we can go, we can take it, it's so much involved, and yet we try to put pressure upon our kids to combat with professional con artists. In our son's case, it's at least, 4, Tim? You think it's at least 4 or more? 4 people.
How much money was they asking for?
They started off
in the thousands.
Yeah.
And
Really?
I'm pretty sure they knew he couldn't pay that. Later on in the message, it says, all right, how about this? You give us $300 and we'll make it all go away. So when I saw that, I was like, these but he's still a kid. He doesn't have that kind of money just laying around because, like she said, we give him everything he needs. Yeah, we'll put money in his pocket and say, here, spend it how you want. $300.
Wow.
He had it, but at the same time, he didn't. He had his own bank account. He has his own bank cards. But if he takes that kind of money out, we're going to notice. So he didn't really have the money to give him.
Yeah, he had a little over 100 in cash, and they coached him. So they told him go get iTunes gift card. I think it was
some
like
kind
an
of
Apple gift card.
Wow.
Some kind of gift card to where they could just take them numbers off the card. And
Yeah, they
get
video
the
called them again. So they didn't want him to send a picture of the card because then we could trace it. So
you mentioned earlier in your comments that you say this happens and the window and it happens real quick and it happens often. From your experience, is the remedy the thing that most people just pay? Is that what happens, or what's happening?
People do pay. They don't go away. So what we tell people is really don't have that conversation. Like these kids, no one really is equipped. You get lost into that, multiple people ganging up on you. But even when they pay, they typically get more aggressive. So I think that's what happened with James, is James paid thinking he would get away, and that's why he never said anything, and they got more aggressive.
So he did give him some money.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So at some point he gave him what he could.
Yes.
To try to say, let's get this over with. All right. So now we building. All right. So now you got. Now it's really building on him, right? So within that 19 hours, he actually gave him some money.
He did.
He got more aggressive. We want more.
It was like, hey, you paid this first time. Why won't you pay again?
That wasn't gonna never end.
Blackmail never ends.
That was never gonna end.
I think one victim that I know about, I think he paid a couple thousands before he took his own life. They've all paid some sort of money, and they take anything. Like they take bank cards, Cash App, Apple Pay, gift cards, any kind of anything they'll take. And that's where we stress to adults as well. A lot of people say, my kid doesn't have any money. They take gift cards and $10, and if you do it, convert it from US dollar to Nigerian money, that is $4,600 to them. Our money is very valuable when you compare it to other countries, and we have to take that into consideration. Although we take advantage of our money, other countries do not. They are well aware of that.
So you said something. You said Nigerian. So this was a Nigerian?
James' murderers are in Ivory Coast. Yeah, Africa.
Really? I really hate to hear. I hate to hear it from anywhere, but really that. Wow. That's deep. So let's talk about that a little bit. So we know that everything happened with James, and we're sorry about that. And I know you guys went through that. And so let's go to that next step. After that was now you have to deal with that, and now the FBI and trying to find the people and the perpetrators behind it. Walk me through what was that like, and what steps did you guys have to take going through that?
First thing we did, we took his phone. They took it first.
Now, who do you call? I guess that's where I'm at. Who do you call? I guess you called the police and
yeah, we
right?
called 911 first. Mm-hmm. They come out, do what they do and everything. They took the phone and everything.
Mm-hmm. But at this point, we didn't know what.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Yeah. I imagine nobody would know what to do, right?
No.
Okay.
Later on that night, just us snooping around and whatnot, checking phone records and all that other stuff in his history, we come across a number that didn't look familiar and it was out of place. So we called it back, and that's how we found out some people was asking him for money. And we're like, who the hell is these people?
Was y'all able to talk to them?
They wouldn't talk to us.
They wouldn't, no. So it's midnight, right? I guess old school, because I'm still naive. We're thinking... It's midnight. We thought it was some chick that something went wrong with, right? That we just didn't know about. And so I call and they pick up, but then they hung up.
It was a Pennsylvania phone number.
Yeah, it's a Pennsylvania number. So they pick up and they hang up. So I'm like, oh crap. She probably cannot talk. It's midnight. How our parents like, no, talk. That's what I thought. I was told I'm sadly mistaken nowadays.
No. They talk anytime they want to.
Yeah. So then they started texting us.
We couldn't get them to talk to us, but when they answered the phone and hung up, they realized who we were. How, I don't know, because our number isn't attached to anything in James's social media history or anything. So they instantly started saying, hey, this is your son, and they sent us a picture of him, and then they said, send us money. And they started trying to blackmail us.
Wow. And so that's how we found out. We still didn't know what it was called or what exactly was going on. It was still quite foreign to us, and they were like, give us money now. And we were like, please stop. It's his parents. But we didn't want them to know that he had passed because...
Did y'all tie them to all of this, or you still not knowing that they had anything to do with that?
Oh, no, they're tied to it.
Yeah, we tied it.
Because they sent us the same pictures that they were sending to James.
Okay. But we didn't see that until...
We didn't know that yet, but they were still tied to it. You're not going to sit here and say, hey, give us money or
and then
else,
we didn't. It didn't click. Right. I don't understand how we were as aware as we were, because we were... I don't know. I cannot answer that.
Well, the FBI tells people don't communicate with the people at all or anything. We
still did. We did. But it was a good thing because that came out of it, because we asked. I said, okay, fine, we'll pay you. And I said, what is your Cash App? I wasn't paying no crap. You took my baby. Right. But we just
trying to get some info.
Trying to get more info.
Right.
And thank God we did, because we were later told by Homeland Security that because of us getting that Cash App, it linked to 50 other victims in Ohio alone. Wow. That's only including Ivory Coast. That's not including the people who are doing this from Nigeria or Europe or Asia. It's not including any of those. Wow. Just specific to James and the people who were after James. Wow. 50 people in Ohio. We still got all the other states.
Wow. That's huge.
And they were all because of that text message.
Wow. Now that person probably was doing 3 or 4 or 5, 6 people at a time.
More than that.
Right.
Who knows? They were making a killing, whatever they were doing.
Like they explained it. Just imagine if we go to a call center and we worked in customer service, we have our cubicle. That's what they do. This is their job.
Wow. So did the FBI come in right away, or did the police then?
No. So it was the police.
I'm not sure how it went. I know the police was first.
The police were first, and the investigator on the streets bureau. Thank God that they knew, because break it down. Majority of your local police officers do not know what sextortion is. They may know the switching of the pictures and pedophilia, but they don't know about sextortion and what this type of sextortion. Okay. We were lucky. We got a wonderful police force in Streetsboro who did.
Who did?
So that, I think that was luck. Whatever you believe. Tim doesn't believe in luck, but
I don't believe it.
It was that. once that happened, they were able to bring in internet crimes against children in, and then it rolled from there.
Okay.
To where Homeland Security is over our case. So the FBI and the Homeland Security, although they work together, they separate in different cases. So FBI has Nigerian cases and other areas, and Homeland Security has the Ivory Coast.
So your hopes with that is that the FBI gets an opportunity to go in there and close those people down.
Homeland Security.
Homeland Security.
Yeah. It's going to take a while. This isn't like someone next door and we're finding them. A lot of people may say, why aren't you pushing this, or why aren't you doing that? But it truly does take a while to go through all of this. Is not only do you have to create who all was involved in a solid case and making sure that you have something to stand on, because if not, it fails, right?
Correct.
But then you have to submit it to their government and then get approval from their government to get extradited back into the United States, and then hope that the government isn't in on this either, right?
Really?
So you have that. So with James, take it back a little bit. James, we think, is at least 4 people. The girl, 2 guys, and a person here in America. The person here in America is the one who's taking money through the Cash App, washing it, and sending it over to Africa.
Wow.
So you have that, and you're trying to build up the case against these people. Then you have the people who actually influenced him to take his own life.
Wow. That is huge. A lot to take in and a lot to have to deal with, and a lot to hold on to try to get some justice. And doing that fight every day got to play a toll on you. And I'm glad to see you guys are still in good spirits. I'm glad to see y'all working through that as a couple and everything else. I know it got to be tough, man. But I think things don't work out, man. I think that this program and things that you guys are doing with your foundation and enlightening everybody else about what's going on was the mission. You never know. There's things that happen in our lives that people change, like me just watching the program and looking at it to say, hey, I want to be able to spread that word and say it to people and have you guys come on the show. And I don't know who may be listening to our program. I always claim I got millions and millions of followers and people watching my program, but we're going to help somebody. There's somebody who need to hear that, whether there's somebody who's going through it or somebody who's just thinking about it. I think all of that plays a big role. So I think that's very good information and things that you hear. And thank you for sharing that with us. Oh, that's Latif's signal. He got a question. Latif, what's your question, sir?
Yeah. I just wanted to ask, have any other victims from Ohio contact you? Have y'all exchanged any stories or tried to get together to see how y'all can collectively try to attack this situation and find out and get to the bottom of some of this stuff?
So to answer your question, yes and no. So unfortunately, your question is twofold. So when people actually are victims of sextortion, they call us. So we have actively helped people through sextortion as they were actually being victimized. That is something that our foundation does. A lot of people don't. They look at our foundation and they believe like it's just us telling a story, and it's way more than that. So we have that. We have when we do speaking engagements inside high schools, and we have actually helped encourage kids to speak up for themselves, and 2 pedophiles have been caught because of our speaking engagement. So it's beyond sextortion. We make mention of rape, molestation, cyberbullying, different things of that sort. And then we try to work with the behavioral health organizations in the area that we're speaking with to help give kids therapy and different things of that sort. So it's a lot involved with that. In regards to people who have already lost their children, we are part of a group and we discuss it. But each one of our cases, although extremely similar, a lot of our victims a lot of our murderers are different people, and we all have different contacts, and a lot of us are in different states. we also have people where you hear a lot of the youth who are committing, or who are dying by suicide is the proper term. But the local police officers or the parents don't know that what sextortion is. So they link it to previous depression or history of depression, or they just don't know. So what we're doing is we're working with the Internet Crimes Against Children to help encourage a parent to allow them to look a little bit deeper and see if they were also victims of sextortion, and then we can go from there. And by them doing that, the FBI records say 12 people have been so far, and that was last year. They went back and it actually found 22 people in 2022 alone. Wow. But that's only from people who allowed them to look a little bit further into their phones and different things of that sort.
So let me ask you, Tim, start with you. What would you say to a young person who may be going through that right now and don't want to say something, or you think they may be dealing with it but just didn't? Is there what you would say to that person right now?
I tell people all the time, to get in that situation, you had to be vulnerable. You had to say and do some things that will put you at a lesser light. Do it one more time and ask for help. You know, if you could go out there and make a mistake, but you realize you made that mistake, just ask for help. Go to somebody you trust, whether hopefully it's your parents. But if it's not, you got teachers that care about you, the bus driver, the coaches at your school that you participate on their sports of, your principals, whoever. There's somebody that's going to help you. Just ask for help. Be vulnerable one last time.
What about you?
We're here to help, like Tim was saying. I think Tim says it perfectly. Be vulnerable one last time. I also liked for people to understand that there are misconceptions out there in the world, and that those things where people are being saying is totally not true. If you have a picture online and you're under 18 years of age, it does not always stay. There's an app that was created from the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children. If you're under the year of 18 years old, they can wipe the internet clean of your picture.
Hold on, we're going to let you say that again. So you're going to say that one more time, real clear. So one more time.
Sorry.
Let's hear that, because that's a very important part.
It's very important. So the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children has an app out there. If you are under the age of 18 and you have a nude picture, your picture can be wiped clean through this app. That's a misconception. Another misconception, if you block them, they'll go away. They won't. They have your phone number now. They will create a different profile. They will try to get you any other way. You need to make sure that you ask for help. Ask for help. Go to the FBI, your local police. But we prefer the FBI or the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children. They have cyber online tips that you can actually make a tip and report, and they help you on that. What other ones are good?
You got Bark, Take It Down.
Bark. So there's an app out there for the parents where if the kid is, I think it's under 16, don't quote me on the age, but you can put Bark onto the phone of your children and it will scan for certain phrases like I'm gonna kill myself, or why are you trying to hurt me, different things where you may feel that your child is in danger, and it will text the parent. It will get a hold of the parent and let them know that they need to
something's wrong.
Yeah, something's wrong.
You might want to look into it.
So there's apps out there now that have been created. Just because we like to say it like this. If they got a hold of James, and we were a very close family, he was very active, he had a great social life, he was a wonderful soul, then we have to make sure that we continue to raise awareness for all children, black, brown, white, whoever they are, and regardless of their economic situation. We have to take charge of our kids and stop believing that they will come to us in an emergency situation.
I was going to ask you
because that may not happen.
I was going to ask you that. I'm glad you put it that way.
Yes,
exactly.
That's not our story. So we have to treat your kids differently. We have to treat your kids like how James handle the situation. That's why we have the tip card too. I brought one.
I got the tip card. I don't have the business one. But the tip card.
Yes.
So
Just a tip card, okay.
So here's the tip card.
Give them to all kids.
We give them to every kid. We've probably given away over 15,000 of these now.
See one.
But what the tip card is, James' last Google search, Tim was able to pull it up, and he was trying to figure out what exactly was happening to him. He was Googling, trying to figure out how to get a page shut down. He truly did not know, and he was truly fighting and trying to figure it out on his own. We give this to kids. As you can see, you cannot tear it. It's small. They can put it in their phone. They can put it in their wallet, purse. They can keep it with them at all times, and it tells them exactly what to do if they're ever in a similar situation.
Awesome.
I have another question.
Yeah.
How do we put more pressure on some of these social media platforms to act faster and not allow the scam artists just to run rapid, from your case to people getting their pages hacked and identity theft and fraud? It just seems these criminals just have free reign to roam and just do crime after crime, and then people end up hurt, like your son. So how do we put more pressure or have more culpability for these platforms?
So we've already started doing a number of things. So with Lieutenant Governor John Husted, we had we helped push, and they were able to get a law signed. It's called the Social Media Parental Act. So anyone under 16 years of age, the social media platforms have to create a separate online access to their child's Instagram or whatever social media platform they have, but they also have to get parental consent. What it does is make them be held accountable for if something of harm was to happen to their children. They will now be held accountable for that. Of course, with all these scams and all these other things, it makes the social media platforms money.
Right.
So, of course, we have a big task ahead of us, and we don't necessarily know what more we can do. But what we have done and what we plan to continue to do is raise awareness in regards to that. The more that we raise awareness and make people aware of scams, of sextortion, of ways that people can steal your money, the less money that they will be able to make.
And it's really wild because it's everybody calls civil liberties and freedoms. It's like on both sides. As much as we want to shut it down to a point where you can have some control, you got the other side. There's too much control. You're all in our business. You're getting this and you're doing that. So
stop trying to control me.
It's just you're trying to control me. You're getting it. So it's like an evil fight. So it's you answered the question perfectly. The best thing you can do is just continue the awareness. You got to really be out there pushing it hard to tell people what's going on, and hopefully aware them. I think this card is an awesome idea. And I think that you guys should be able to get this out in schools and everywhere, like all schools and places like that, to do that. And if there's something we can do to help you in doing that, we want to help you guys with your foundation and continue to help you with your cause. So speaking on that, let's talk a little bit about that. Now, we got the foundation. Guys did a marathon, right? Marathon out there. I saw that, and 5K. So let's talk about the foundation. We done went over our time, so we're going to just talk until we finish. Right?
Oh, you fine. Yeah, Sunday.
So let's talk about the foundation. What is the foundation? What you guys tell us a little bit about what the foundation doing, and you gave us some of the things that you guys are doing in the foundation, which was awesome. So give us a little bit about the foundation.
The foundation, we named it after our son, of course, James. But what we do, we go out, we talk to mainly whoever will listen, parents, teachers, children. And we just try to inform them, hey, this is what's going on. These are some steps you could take if it happens to you, do these. Before it happens to you, we give them all those other steps too, like, hey, be leery of this and that. It's pretty much just giving away information. We try to make everybody as informed as they could be, because the more knowledgeable a society is, the more they'll thrive. If everybody is ignorant to something, they fall prey to it. And our problem was we were ignorant to what this is, and we didn't learn about it till after. So the more people we talked to, we never heard about this. We never knew about it. Well, now you know. So they go home, they talk to their children, and everybody's having conversations about something that was previously never discussed. Chances are we probably save more lives than we really know.
Exactly. Oh, you really are.
Yeah, we just want to make sure that we continue. Tim and I choose to be vulnerable. We choose to put our heart out there, wake up every day. We are hurt. Like our whole life and what we did it for a majority of our adulthood, taking care of someone so wonderful was taken away from us. But we use it to try to help other people in every way that we can, and that's what we do. We do every day. We wake up and we do it for James, and that's why we came up with the foundation. We do it for James. Our foundation, we try to make it as relatable as we possibly can. When we talk to kids, we relate them to James. When we talk to the adults, we relate them to us, because it doesn't matter if you don't have a child. You have a nephew, you have a cousin, you have a neighbor, you have some affiliation with some youth. And the more that we can just raise awareness, the way that Tim said, we will be able to save kids' lives.
So on the foundation end, and can you give us what does the foundation does, some of the programs that you guys do at the foundation? You mentioned them before, and I want to do it again because I'm going to cut it up on my thing. It's going to look real nice. So if you tell me, what's some of the things you guys do at the foundation? I remember you mentioned you guys deal with bullying, a little bit cyberbullying, and some of the stuff that not only sextortion, but what else?
We talk about mainly the sextortion stuff because that's how it got started. But along with that, you got harassment, bullying, because kids, they're going to pick on each other, harass each other. Some bullying goes on, violence and whatnot. Just normal everyday stuff that pretty much everybody goes through, mainly children. As adults, we get further away from it. We're older, wiser. We don't put up with certain things. As kids, you're in school with 900 other people your age, and it's going to be problems. We talk to the kids a lot. Hey, this is what it's like. This is what you can expect. This is what you shouldn't put up with, and go from there.
Is your foundation a nonprofit?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. 501c3?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
Yes. Yeah. We also have a library series. So this Tuesday coming up will be at Parma Snow. And each month we are at a different library until November. And
what you're doing at the library?
Our theme is beating misconceptions. So we have a more intimate conversation, just like how we're having here. We tell our story and we talk about misconceptions of suicide, sextortion, and in our life story, and helping to educate other people. When we talk to kids, we help them educate. We give them resources. We tell them that they matter.
Yeah, we make sure we put that on the card so that when they look at it, they see it in bright letters.
Yeah,
you matter.
You matter. Right.
When we talk to the kids in the school, I don't know why we did it that first one time. She was like, raise your hands. How many of y'all think you matter? And it was probably 2 out of every 10 people that raised their hand.
Really?
I was like, everybody should have their hands up. I told them, I was like, all y'all should have your hands up. You all matter. You know?
Kids don't think that they matter anymore. I don't know what it is, and
it's weird.
It's different.
That's different.
Yeah, of course, being in the schools, you realize a lot of the broken homes that are there, but a lot of kids don't hear that they love them, and that they are loved and that they matter. So we make sure that we instill that in them. If only for a day, they're going to hear that they are loved.
That they're loved, that they matter, that they're special.
Yeah.
Their life has meaning.
And if they feel in some kind of way, there's ways they can get help.
You call them numbers, they'll talk to you.
So you say you guys got documentaries coming up, a few, right?
3. We're done. Yes, 3.
Y'all done them or y'all got them coming?
So 2
both.
2. We thought we were done with all 3, and then 1 is coming back this evening actually, but we're doing
doing Netflix specials and stuff.
I wish we was getting more. We need more money in the foundation. Keep it going. Right. But it's really truly solely just off of raising awareness of sextortion with So we have Chris Hansen. Have you ever heard of Chris Hansen, the Catch a Predator?
Oh, yeah.
So
good guy.
Yeah.
Yes. So all three of the documentaries caught us in different lights. So with Chris Hansen, we did our interview with him, and I don't think James was gone for a whole month yet.
Wow.
So you get that authenticity of us just
Everything's
losing
still
our
fresh
child
and
is
new.
fresh and new. And we actually were the ones who taught him about sextortion against boys. And then he started doing research and found out of other people. So I think with that documentary, it's either 3 or 4 families. I think it's 3 families on that one. We're part of the 3. We have ABC News Nightline, where ABC News Nightline caught us in the fact of what we're doing for the foundation, how we chose to turn our pain into a more positive note, and you see a lot of what we're like actually doing active. So they saw us with a parent speaking engagement, a kid speaking engagement, and truly how we're trying to deal with the aftermath. With the 3rd documentary, he actually did a movie on sextortion, but it focused on female victims, which we didn't get into that either. This is just just crazy.
Female victims and male victims are completely different.
Completely different tactics.
We don't have to talk about that before y'all leave.
But he did one, and it was focused on a female, and then he found out with James. So now it's a documentary on that. And he was actually at the run, him and his wife. So they interviewed us afterwards the next day, but they also was at the 5K run, interviewed some people, and saw how what we did with the run and what we plan on doing every year, it's just truly wonderful. So like, we're all about getting the tools you need to make sure that you don't take your life. So with the run, it was a 5K run, but it was also a day of fun. So all of our vendors were people who would actually help beat the misconceptions that the kids believe in and teach them differently. So we had the FBI there. We had the Internet Crimes Against Children there. We had Mental Health and Recovery Board. We had the Crisis Center there. We had a nonprofit called Why Bully Me. We had all these people who were there, and we made an opportunity where they get a scholarship out of it. So every month they will get a $500 scholarship, but they had to go to each one of these vendors and have the vendors check off that they did it. And each vendor had a different color. So you could, but that was our way of, one, making sure that they got the information they need as you, right? So they didn't get it through third party. And a lot of times when we parents, they like blah, blah, blah. But they got it firsthand. But 2, it allowed them to actually know what to do. And so when we did all of that, we brought it together, and that's what we got to.
That's cool, man. That's awesome. It sounds like you guys got you're on to something good, and it seems like it's just going to get bigger and bigger.
That's the plan.
That's the plan. I think you guys got it. Let's talk about this, because you said it was a difference between girls and boys. Now, what's the difference?
So everybody who's in the dating world knows, if you're a guy and you're talking to a woman, you got to talk to her, you got to butter her up. It takes a period of time. Guys, on the other hand, it's the complete opposite. If a girl wants to talk to a guy, he's instantly, hey, let's go. Let's get this going. So with the girls, the predator sits there, he takes his time, or she, whoever it is, and they tell them all the sweet nothings they need to hear and all this stuff, but it still takes a long period of time. And these predators, their main goal is money. So with the women, they take this period of time, and then eventually they finally get what they want, whether it's videos or pictures, whatever. With guys, it's pretty much instantaneous. It happens within, I think they said 8 minutes.
8
so,
minutes.
The FBI pretty much told us we're easy.
24 hours?
It usually takes a month or 2.
Yeah.
A month or 2?
It takes a little bit.
Man, we like 8 hours?
8 minutes.
8 minutes.
8 minutes.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. We're easy.
We are.
So,
wow.
like, the main goal of the females is to get it's more pedophilia focused. So they either get it for self-gratification or they get it to sell pictures or product to other pedophiles.
And they just continuously want more and more pictures and videos from the women so that they can put them out.
Yes, but the young boys, it's money. That's the whole thing. And then they die.
We want to get it over with. Like, here, take the money, leave me alone. And that's the way it works with guys.
Wow. But you have to be more aggressive with guys. So that's why you see a lot more suicides with guys because they're aggressive. They tell them, I'm heartless. And these are words that... So when we say 200 messages, it's not a message that says, hi, hello. It's not... That's not the message. When we say our son received 200 messages, this is one of them. This is one message. Okay? Sorry.
Take your time.
So one message that was sent to James. I am more determined to rot your life than to make it a waste, a trash can, a shame, a dishonor, a hell, a real disaster, a hell on earth. And also I remind you that I am heartless. I have no pity to rot a life as well as yours. That's one message.
Wow.
He received 2 of those messages. So we have to make sure that people understand this isn't, oh, you're embarrassed now, I got you. No, that's one message.
Yeah, they're sitting there bullying and threatening him over an extended period of time. This is what they do to pretty much all their victims, I would guess. So over time, it doesn't matter how strong you are, everybody has a breaking point.
Yes. And even within those 200 messages, Tim and I still said, we love you. Tim said, I'm proud of you. Make the best out of it. I said, I'm proud of... Those were my last words to my son. I'm proud of you. I knew you could do it. That was overshadowed by 200 messages. And a lot of people have to understand, too, when they say, oh, I can't believe it, yada, yada. What we do for the adults who say those things, I break it down in a different scenario. I say, okay, you're a woman, right? They say, yes. I said, what if somebody messaged you and it was another woman and they sent you a picture of your husband? And they said, me and your husband have been having an affair. And he said you were ugly and you were worthless and you were nothing. And they sent you 200 messages. At the end of those 200 messages, are you going to believe your husband or are you going to believe the female on the other line? That is what my son went through.
That woman's gonna believe that other woman on the phone.
She got pictures.
It will not take 200.
No, it's gonna take the one.
It's gonna take the one.
And y'all divorced. Life is ruined over a lie. So we have to look at it from a different perspective. And although my son took the worst possible choice, and I wish that he wouldn't have, I don't think that he would have ever did that in a normal circumstance. But we have to understand that the thought process that is going through our kids, and they do feel that their life is over. And to say that me as a 40-year-old woman, and to not think, if I was put in that situation, I would think my life is over. I work for a very prestigious company. So if someone got a hold of my picture and said, I'm sending it to that company that I work for, I would think my life is over. It's the same thing. They say, you're not going to run track again. We're sending it to all the schools. Your life is over.
And we talking child, a kid.
Yes.
Who really, like we would say, like you say, basic thing, track, which could mean everything to them.
That's his future. That was his
He had
life.
plans to go to college.
Yes.
They told him, no college is going to accept you. You won't be able to get a job. Your friends won't like you anymore. Your family won't love you anymore.
You're going to be labeled a pedophile.
You're going to go to prison.
Yeah. And these are some truths to it. Like, I have a video now where police are telling the kids that they will go to jail if they send pictures of themselves. And they do it as a scare tactic to get them to stop because child pornography is illegal. But
the FBI clearly tell you.
They tell you you're not going to get in trouble.
You won't get. The child will not get in trouble.
No.
You might get in trouble with your parents. Or something, but the law is not going to punish you for doing something like that.
Of yourself. Now,
if you're sending pictures of someone else, then you're going to get in trouble.
Right. But if someone manipulated you into sending a picture of yourself, you are the victim.
That's correct.
So we have to make sure that they understand that because other people are telling them differently. And then you have people like our son's murderers who come in and tell him that. And then he thinks, I'm going to go to jail. So then you have a question, why didn't James go to the police if he couldn't go to his parents? That's why, because they told him he's going. Where we talked about isolation, we was talking about isolation, the signs and symptoms of suicide. There's that isolation.
Wow. This is terrible.
I just wanted to I'm sitting here and my mind is just even with the things that kids have to go through. I'm in school, I got to do my grades good, I got to be good at sports. And then this on top of all of that, I can't even imagine what I was thinking. And then the other point that I wanted to make was, you said the 200 messages, and then how you guys always told you love them and you proud of them. So just flip it for a minute. Say it was 200 messages from you guys and just 5 or 6 messages from the predator. We as human beings, we always focus to those negatives.
We do.
We do. So even if it was flipped the other way around, still he was focused on that. And then my last point was how you said be vulnerable one more time. I'm pretty sure he did want to come to you guys, but as you guys are telling him 200,
It was probably making it more difficult.
He didn't want to disappoint us.
I just think about it that way. It probably made it more difficult.
Yes. We was his life. It's and we understand that. We understand it and we don't. I tell people all the time. I understand why he did what he did, but I also don't understand why he did what he did, right? I can tell you why he did what he did. But James also knew, because James seen it firsthand, that we'll fight for him. We told James, it's funny. Okay, hear me out. It's funny. James was driving, and I let him drive me somewhere. I said, James, take me to the grocery store or something. I don't know. And he was playing Anthony Hamilton, Charlene. I said, I need to beat up. Who broke your heart? I said, how do you even know this song? But he knew that we would fight for him. He knew that. But you also, like what we didn't get to touch base on, Tim and I believe that James was up for 40 hours.
Well, because Monday through Friday, kids go to school. He woke up Friday morning. He went to school. Friday, he gets out of school. He's at home. He gets contacted by such and such, whoever. He's up. We get home from bowling about 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock at the latest that night. He's still up. I have to be to work at 5 in the morning, Saturday morning. I wake up Saturday morning, come downstairs to go to work. There's James. My son is already wide awake, fully dressed, and eating breakfast. So, looking back at it, all those messages probably kept him up all night.
All night.
He couldn't sleep, so he just got his day started.
Because he dozed off when he was with me. But I thought, like a lot of people say, were there any red flags? They were, but there weren't, right? With Tim Tim coming home, waking up and for work, and James is up. That would be a red flag to some people, but not for us, because
James is up in the middle of the night playing video games with his friends.
Right, yes, playing video, right.
There's been plenty of times I wake up 3, 4 in the morning. All I hear is him screaming on the game.
Exactly. Right. Or Tim didn't know, but like sometimes James would be up because he just wanted his father and he wanted to talk to his father. That's what he did. Or like when they say he wasn't on the phone. When we was at the college fair, he was on his phone. And I told him to put it up. I said, put your phone up. Why are you on your phone? I said, put your phone up. And then he put his phone up. And then I proceeded to point to everybody in the crowd. And 75% was on their phone. So that, I didn't know that they were messaging him. I just know he was on his phone. And I told him to put it up.
Wow.
So those are red flags, but not red flags.
But not.
Right?
Right.
I don't know. We
I
could talk
you
about
told me I haven't seen a red flag out
There
of nothing
isn't
that y'all
any.
told me that sounded
He was just a normal kid, everybody else. He went about his day.
It was just a moment in his time where we not going to know that he made a decision.
And I don't blame James for making his decision. I tell his spirit that all the time. He was human, and that's what we tell kids. You cannot condemn a kid because he wanted to see boobs. You want to see boobs.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, human.
Right.
And that's why we're here. We
Right.
tell parents all the time that we have to, what we would have taught James and what we would have liked to teach James is how to act appropriately online, how to act appropriately. But we cannot fault James for what he wanted to see. He was a 17-and-a-half-year-old young man. He was curious, and she was beautiful, and that's the end of the story.
He falls in the spectrum of what we say, 8 minutes.
8 minutes.
8 minutes.
We're fast.
We're fast.
Don't waste no time.
Man, we cursed with that.
No, not yet, no. Because we think she's over in Africa, too.
What about that phone number from Pennsylvania that you guys called back? Were they able to tie that to someone?
We don't know. So a lot of stuff they're not going to tell us. A lot of stuff we know, but we're not going to say because we don't want to hurt
Their investigation is we can't do nothing to help them.
But to answer that, another true transparency. We're not the kind of parents that hound Homeland because. One, I can talk to you majority of the time. I can have a conversation. I don't cry. A lot of times I do, but I don't cry. Me calling Homeland Security and them telling me they have nothing every time I call would break me.
That would kill you.
It would kill. It really would. So we don't ask them as much. Plus, we do. Like, you are probably number 79 as far as how many things we've done since we launched our foundation. We don't want therapy. It's good therapy, but we also don't want to tell things that we shouldn't tell. So the less we know, and we trust them in a sense of we know that they're working for us. We know that they're going to continue to work for us and work on this case because we actually do presentations with them. So they know what we're doing. They know, and we know, but we just don't want to ask so many things. We just don't want to hurt the only thing that we have left.
You guys y'all gonna be okay, man, because I'm a true firm believer in spiritual things, how things are meant to go. And you guys are doing exactly what y'all supposed to do. God put people in positions who can handle certain things. I look at certain people you see who take care of handicapped people, and you be like, well, there's only certain people in this world who can do that. And everybody is not meant to do it, and everybody can't do it. But when you see that person who doing it, you be like, wow, that person has that spirit and got everything it can to do that. So this thing you're doing right here is what y'all were meant to do. And I think the thing that James was meant to do was do exactly this. It's to help as many kids and as many people as you can. And this is what part of it is doing. And so I think that's it. And the reason why I can say that is I can look at two of you guys. I can still see that you guys still like each other because I'm telling you, that's but no, that's a hard thing to deal with. A lot of couples can't go through that, right? They go through that. That's a hard thing to deal with. And I'm not saying that everything is rosy because I don't know, but I'm just telling y'all that it's a hard thing to deal with.
Well, you're right.
A
lot of times you got a family together, and then after the kids leave the house, a lot of times the two people that's married break up.
Correct. So no, man, you guys, and so this work that you guys are doing is really good work, and it's going to pay off in the end because in the short period of time, look how many people you guys help. Imagine what happens 10 years from now when you guys are still doing it, and now you're doing that marathon all through Streetsboro and that kind of thing. So it's going to be huge, and I want to be a part of it, and that's what we here for. our organization and what our company could do anything to help you. So before you leave, I'll make sure you get that information so we help you raise some money for your organization. That's what we do. We do have some connections with some political folks and some governmental folks that we could see if there's a way we can help raise some money for some awareness for
Awesome.
what you guys are doing.
While you're saying that, because we did get selected to go to San Diego. So on October 14th is when we leave. We're there from the 14th to the 17th. And we were selected to tell our story to the International Association of Chief of Police.
Oh, okay.
It's 33,000 members, 165 countries, and we're help teaching them about sextortion as well. But we have to pay the whole thing.
Okay.
So whatever help that we can get, like we are most grateful for at all.
I just want to say that whoever it is, adult, child, if you got problems, there's always somebody out there that can help you. Just ask for help is number one, because we can't fight all our battles on our own. If you feel like you can't ask for help, do it anyway. A lot of times we don't want to get up and go to work. Still got to go. You still got things to take care of and do. Children out there, you mainly got the world at your feet. Everybody's looking out for children. You just have to know where to look. Just ask. Bullying, threatening, harassment, sextortion, whatever. It could all stop. All you have to do is just say, hey, this is what's going on with me. Who do I need to talk to? They'll point you in the right direction. Just take the advice that they give you and use it. Everybody's different, so everybody's not going to go through the same things. So whatever you're going through, somebody else might be going through the same thing or something slightly different. Y'all could talk to each other. Y'all could be each other's comfort. It'd be like your own therapy. Just gotta ask. It's real simple.
Thanks, Tim. Miss Tamia, what you got to say? This camera belongs to you.
Just want to piggyback on what Timothy had said. Stand up for yourself. Do not let anyone bully you any kind of way. Make sure you speak out. Remember that you are a victim and that you matter. Always reach out to someone. There are resources there. You can go to our website at www.letsdifj.org. We have many resources there. If you're ever thinking about committing suicide, don't. Stop everything that you're doing and text or dial 988. Always remember, if no one else loves you, Tim and Tamia does, and you matter.
Excellent. Hey, I'm going to have all the links to how you can get involved with their organization in our description and how you can donate to help them with furthering their cause of what they're doing. We're going to be featuring them on a few of our things as we go on this year, and we'll be reaching out to get more information on how they're doing and see what we can do to help them out. So until next time, peace. Thank you, guys.
You're very welcome.
All
Thank
right.